We are live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. We're also live on YouTube and on Facebook. We're having the crucial conversation that stations that Erie needs. And one of those things that we deal with here in downtown Erie is the parking thing. And so our next guest, I would thought there would have been a papal dispensation for parking for bishops. Don't you think, Bishop Persico?
Well, if you would have had a reserved space.
I should have
yes, one. But it's... So I got my exercise for the
You
day.
did. You got your steps in. Welcome,
Thank you.
Bishop Lawrence Persico, the Bishop of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Erie. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, too.
75.
Yes, 75.
Wow. Okay, so you've taught us over the years that that's kind of an important birthday for bishops.
It is, because when a bishop turns 75, he has to submit his resignation to the Holy Father, which I did. And now the next step is you just wait.
All right, so when you think about, we'll just stay with American bishops.
Yeah.
Who's the oldest American bishop?
Oh, gee, I really wouldn't know.
I mean, is it the same thing with cardinals too, or cardinals allowed to be older?
Usually cardinals go till they're 80.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but bishops at 75.
Yeah.
And it varies.
Do you think that there's some 78-year-olds still going?
79s.
Really? Yeah.
And I know of one who was 80.
Okay, so you're not you're like who's the quarterback for the Steelers that you're still in the running. You're like Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
You're still QBing.
Right, exactly. I stay until I get my letter.
Right.
Phone call.
Right. What I love, though, and your press office releases today, is that you're calling Catholics across the diocese to pray for the new bishop.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, we developed a prayer that I've asked all the parishes to use until the new bishop comes. Hopefully, they won't have it memorized. Until the new bishop comes.
Oh, my gosh.
But I think it's important that we as a diocese pray for our new leader.
Yeah. And
pray that the Holy Spirit chooses the right one for the Diocese of Erie.
It's interesting and I want to get the terminology correct here. And it is it's an episcopal transition.
Right, right.
What's episcopal mean?
Episcopal means bishop.
Okay.
Yeah. A bishop is it's classified as an episcopal because of the job being a bishop. So it's an episcopal transition. You could also say bishop transition.
Sure.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. So you issued your resignation at 75, but you still lead, like
right.
what you
Nothing
said.
changes.
Now the Pope reviews the resignation. That's part of his workload, or
actually, what happens is I send my letter to the nuncio, who's the Pope's representative, and he sends it over to Rome, and it goes to the dicastery for bishops. It's a working group of bishops who choose bishops for all over the world. But in the meantime, what has happened is, in the United States, provinces, like Erie is in the province of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So when we meet every so often, we submit names of possible candidates. Those are compiled and sent over. Or the nuncio may have some recommendations and send that over.
And the nuncios for all of the United States?
All of the United States.
And he visited, right?
Yeah,
recently.
we had him in Erie for Gannon's 100th anniversary. Yeah. But anyway, he sends it over to the dicastery, this group of bishops and cardinals who review the candidates, and they make up what is called a terna. And on the terna are usually 3 names of potential candidates. They give that to the Holy Father, and then he decides from those three.
Okay. And biographies, I would imagine.
Oh, everything.
Like a full.
Actually, there's even more requested now that you have to provide people who can give testimony. Mm-hmm. So they want at least 20 references when you send information over. And what will happen is, if they choose a candidate, candidates, they will contact these references and ask, under pontifical secret, what are your thoughts about this person being a bishop?
Okay.
Does he have the prerequisites to do that? And then they compile that. So it's a lot of study.
Sure.
And then it goes
You're doing heavy vetting of these
That's what it is,
potentials.
exactly.
Yeah. And like you say, behind the scenes, the search begins, and the Vatican discerns the candidates, and then at some point, Rome announces the new bishop.
Oh, yeah. Well, Rome will make the announcement, and then normally you get a call from the nuncio saying that, the Holy Father has accepted your resignation and has appointed so-and-so as the new bishop.
Okay. Talk about, and again, this with all due respect, but the minor leagues for bishops. So would these be vicars in different dioceses, monsignors, regular priests?
It could be regular priests. It could be people who have worked prior in Rome.
Okay.
So, and it could be your parish priest.
Yeah.
It just depends on who gets recommended by the bishops.
Yeah, but we forget that there are many priests, for example, that may be academics.
Right.
That might be a good potential.
Well, Rome has been looking for people mainly who have pastoral skills.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're not always looking for academics, because it's one thing to be an academic, and no offense to academics,
right?
But it's another thing to be a pastor. You need that experience working with people.
We've talked about, where the Diocese of Erie is vis-a-vis some of the kind of the faster growing down south and in the west.
Right, exactly.
Diocese. We're in a situation here where generally there's population loss, and that's going to impact the church.
Well, it does. It really does. My successor will inherit a rural diocese. We do have some large towns like Erie, Meadville, places like that.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like San Francisco, Chicago, or even some of the southern cities.
Yeah.
Because most of our people, unfortunately, the young people move out. Mm-hmm. They go to college, and they stay where they have the best opportunities. But Erie people do come back when they retire.
Yeah, we have that boomerang effect.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Is there still a vicariate or a
vicariate?
Vicariate?
Yeah,
in Gannon itself.
No, I eliminated that.
Yeah,
because we don't have the number of priests that we used to at Gannon.
Right.
I heard at one time there was, almost 40 priests there working.
Wow.
Well, that was before when they first started the university.
Sure. Yeah.
You didn't have a lot of the.
Monsignor Nash. I mean, the library's named after him, right?
Right. He's
and
a
Worley, was it?
Worley was basically the founder
under
Archbishop Gannon.
Sure.
So they were the ones who built the university, and as time went on, they started to bring in, lay people for the different positions.
So you have more geographic vicariates, right?
Yes. We have a northern one, which includes Erie County, western, and eastern. So there are three.
And the vicars are monsignors generally? Not really?
Necessarily.
Okay.
No.
I'm just trying to get my arms around who could be a potential. But more than likely, our bishop is not going to come from the Diocese of Erie, is it?
We haven't had a native son since Bishop Watson.
Who went to prep and, yeah.
Yeah. He was the last native son. His successor was Bishop Murphy, who came from Cleveland. After Bishop Murphy came Bishop Troutman, who came from Buffalo. I followed Bishop Troutman, and I'm from Greensburg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, they could come from the west, the east, wherever they think the candidate is best suited.
Yeah. Announcement day and then a joyful installation, and do a lot of bishops come from around the country to install the new bishop?
I remember for mine we had about 30.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, but it's people people who have a relationship with the diocese.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. How does it make you feel that you're 75? And now in this process?
Somewhat relieved.
Okay.
Because I think it's time to move on. At 75, you're not a spring chicken.
Mm-mm.
And it takes, there's still a lot of work to do. And, it's not the same when you come in younger with a lot of vim and vigor.
When were you installed? What year?
2012.
Okay.
So I was 61 years old going on. And, that seemed reasonable. But some are chosen in their 50s. So,
yeah.
It all depends.
You've carried a burden on multiple levels that I want to talk about.
Yeah, it's been a challenging 13 years.
We're talking to Bishop Lawrence Persico here on the Joel and Natalie Show. It's Advent. We're going to also talk about Christmas, midnight mass at the cathedral, and just what all of us that follow the lead of Jesus Christ need to do and to be thinking about as we enter the Christmas holiday here. Stay with us. The angels announced the coming of the Messiah to the shepherds here, and we always enjoy talking to Bishop Lawrence Persico during Advent here, and it's a special conversation as he's begun his process of transition from being our bishop here for the Diocese of Erie. Before the break, we mentioned that it's been a consequential. Again, this is not your swan song yet, but you know,
Right.
if we were going to look back here,
Yeah.
it's been a consequential tenure
Right.
as bishop here, and you've had a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, there were a lot of different things came up that we had to deal with. You know, basically, like from the grand jury, COVID, pastoral planning, changing parishes, changing school systems. So we had to make a lot of changes because we felt that it was necessary for us to survive in a changing geographics.
Okay, you're the leader though, but you have to have folks following you.
Yes.
And how did that go? I'm sure you had bumps, but it felt like for the most part you were able to communicate well what your plans were. You know?
Why? Especially with pastoral planning, I knew I was going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
But I had enough good people on a committee that I worked with, and the idea was that if we were going to make changes, the people had to participate because it was going to touch them.
Yeah.
So that's why we always, whenever we did a section of the diocese, we did what was called a preliminary plan. And these were options, and we wanted the people to react to them. And I'll tell you, some of the people really gave good suggestions. So we had to get rid of some of the ideas and use theirs. Because you're talking to people who live in the area, they know the roads and highways and what's best. So many of them were very helpful. I did not just sit down with a bunch of advisors and mandate this. I tried to have as much participation as we could have. But also, I gave them the chance to participate.
Yeah. Do you feel like, again, as that new bishop is being contemplated, has the diocese been right-sided as far as parishes go, or is there still more?
I think there's still work to do.
Shrinkage?
Because the thing is, not the problem, but it's we have fewer priests.
Right.
So we have to do what we can to be able to cover them. There are parts of the diocese where we have pastors with 3 or 4 parishes by himself.
Wow.
But one of the other things that I've started is international priests. We will be bringing in priests from other countries. We have to.
Well, it makes me wonder, at what point does especially maybe some of your urban churches here, like in the city, at what point do we become a place where a mission can come here as opposed to us going to Mexico or what have you?
Precisely. That's, some of the bishops I've talked to, they're very interested in coming. They said, people from America came and brought the faith to Africa. We want to return it. Do the same for you, because we are seeing our priests going to America as missionaries. So I think that's wonderful, that type of spirit.
Yeah, when you think about, again, roll back 100 years ago, many of your priests were born in Poland, born in Italy. In Ireland and so on.
Right, exactly. We had a lot of international priests in in the church in the early years, they built it up until our vocations picked up. So that doesn't mean that we stop promoting vocations of native clergy.
Yeah.
That's still important. But we realize that for us to be able to continue, we need help.
Are you seeing any evidence? There's some national news right now that are saying that there is a rise in interest in Catholicism by young men, and actually read an article I think last week about that young men are driven to the more traditional approach, mind you.
Yes.
In the church. Are you seeing any of that?
Oh, absolutely. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have an interest in being a priest.
Correct. Okay.
It's their own spiritual life. And why? Well, I'll give you an example. St. Hedwig's here in Erie. We have that as a church. It's not a parish now. It's like a mission. But that's where we have our Latin Mass. And I've been there a couple of times to attend Mass with them. The young people, families with so many children, it's shocking. But that's where they are.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
And very devout.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, the church has kind of been a big tent. Back in when I was a kid at 16th and Walnut, we had the folk mass, and you had like St. Joe's Bread of Life, that's a different expression, charismatic.
Yeah.
I mean, there was kind of room for all of that.
Right. Different forms of spirituality.
There's no doubt about it. We're talking to Bishop Persico here. We're going to dive into Christmas, and we'll get a message from him and talk about what we can expect at the cathedral coming up here in just a little bit. I hope that you'll stay with us. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live here at 5th and State. And again, if you want to get a hold of us, you can send me an email at joel@talkerie.com, joel@talkerie.com. We're also on Facebook and on X. Stay with us. having a tremendous conversation with Lawrence Persico, the Bishop of the Roman Catholic Church of Erie here. In the third week of Advent, the fourth Sunday of Advent is coming up here, and we've talked about this over the years, about how Christmas time is one of those unique times where, it's okay to talk about Jesus this time of year.
It's socially acceptable, yes.
Yeah,
right.
But we're all learning things. We know things about the shepherds, and we go to the pageants, and look at the cute little. My granddaughter played a star in her Christian school's pageant.
Oh, is that right?
She was the star. She was the best star.
She was the brightest star.
The brightest star, exactly. Yes. Isn't it? But it's amazing that we have a culture that, for all intents and purposes, you could say is a post-Christian, post-modern culture. I mean, it's not. It's things of God are not primary anymore.
No. For the most part, we've become secularized.
Yeah.
As a community, but then when you have a mixture of all different types of people, that always happens.
Sure. But these days, in this season, you can talk about what Jesus came down for.
Right. It becomes very natural.
Yeah.
Because it's part of our culture now.
Yeah.
It's acceptable.
So when you think about, again, you've been a pastor for many decades at this point now.
Yeah.
What are the takeaways that these families should be taking?
They should use Advent as a time of preparation for what it is. Unfortunately, we turned it into shopping days, Christmas parties, and all of that. Whereas the mind of the church is that Advent is a time to remember what Christ did for us and prepare for his coming to celebrate at Christmas. But that's not the end, because we continue that waiting for Christ to come again.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a time of preparation, reminding us more than just those 4 weeks that we have to prepare ourselves for Christ coming. He will come again. He promised us that. Therefore, we have to be in preparation, and that's hard. Because people, we slip and slide and make up excuses. It's like the traditional New Year's resolution. We use the time to say, well, I'm going to get more. I'm going to go to church more. I'm going to do this more. And then as time goes on, we kind of lose that. Right. So Advent is just not a past remembering the birth of Jesus. It's a reminder to us that we have to continue to live in expectation of Christ coming again.
So some of the conversations that I have about faith talk about those ancient practices. Again, Jesus was a Jew. The Jews had a Sabbath, right? You had a rhythm to life of working, and then you take a break. You take a Sabbath.
Correct.
I love that's in the church, and again in the ancient Catholic Church, you have what's called like the liturgy of the hours, where back in the day there you'd see a movie where the priest would stop his car and go pull their prayer book out in front of the headlights and read the hours, because they were due at 8:00 that night, right?
Right. Well, we still have the liturgy of the hours.
Yeah.
In fact, the bishops just voted on a new translation.
Oh wow.
Since the early 70s we've had. But anyway, priests, deacons are still required to do the hours. So we have, morning prayer, noonday, we have vespers or evening prayer, night prayer, and the office of readings.
And it's the Psalms. You're basically
it's the Psalms.
You're praying the prayers that God gave us back to God, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically what was found in the Old Testament.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's something to those ancient practices that reorients you through your day.
Exactly. And you know, a lot of lay people now are doing the office, saying the breviary. Now, they don't do all the hours. They may have morning prayer, noonday prayer, and evening prayer. And they do it sometimes as families, which is wonderful. But it helps us to consecrate time to God.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds us that a lot of this is His. And He has given us this. And so we give thanks for it, but we also consecrate that time as God's time.
Yeah. I think when you have so much uncertainty in culture or uncertainty in your life, that faith foundation can be the rock.
Precisely. It becomes the pillar, the anchor for your life, especially with so much going on today and all of the influences that people have. It's just nice to step away for a little while and pray.
Yeah.
And it gives you a better focus on what is important in life.
No doubt. No doubt. You know, one of the times since you actually, I think it was the last time you were here, we were talking about the naming of Pope Leo
Yes.
to the Holy See. How do you think he's doing?
I think he's doing fine. Right now, he's sort of getting a lay of the land, but he's also making decisions. He's speaking a lot about justice and about peace.
He seems to be in the vein of Francis that way a bit.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's a carbon copy of Pope Francis.
No. But he's also kind of not Benedict.
He's not
either.
Benedict.
Yeah.
He's Leo.
He's Leo.
Right.
Yeah.
So he has the basic tenets of the faith he will proclaim and live by. But he does it with his own style and personality.
Do you think that his unique journey of being an American, a kid from Chicago, but spending so much time in the third world down in South America has made him a, kind of unique?
A world figure.
A world figure.
Right, because he was young when he went to Peru. So he has that South American experience. Now, certainly it'll be tempered by his American personality, but he understands the people there, and he understands what these other communities of the world are facing.
Do you think that the Holy Father, being from America, being aware of the global, he's probably maybe the best communicator that we've had in that role.
Yeah.
Does that benefit the church?
Oh, absolutely. He's very clear. There's no ambiguity in his talk and in his writing. So he knows what he's saying. He knows what he wants to say. But he's also, and I think it goes to his past training, he's a mathematician.
That's right.
Yeah.
He comes out of that whole,
right.
What is it, Villanova? Right?
Villanova,
Yeah.
right. But also, he's a canon lawyer.
Oh, gee.
So he knows church law, and I think he respects that. So he comes with a different, a refreshing flavor, I would say.
It's really neat. The again, I think having him elevate is can only be a boost to the encouragement and the excitement of the American church.
I think so. It's funny if you hear to have the Pope speaking English without an accent.
Yeah.
It's so different. But what I thought was interesting was the day of his election, and he had to come out on the balcony and greet the people. He spoke to them in Italian, and then he went into Spanish. no English, which I thought that was really good.
Yeah, he was making a statement that
Right.
way. Yeah, yeah. Let's bring it back to our 13 counties here in Northwest Pennsylvania. Again, if you missed the earlier part, Bishop Persico has submitted his resignation to the Holy Father, yet he could be with us in this position for many years, at least months to come. Let's talk about, I want to pull back. One of the times you were here, you talked about the year of Jubilee. Here we are, 2025. We haven't had a Jubilee since the year 2000. How do you feel like the faithful here in the diocese have embraced the Jubilee?
I think overall they did a wonderful job. Yeah, we had over 80 people make a pilgrimage to Rome.
Wow.
From all parts of the diocese. And one of the assignments was that they would pray for the people of the diocese. So they were praying for us at all of the shrines that they visited and going through the Holy Door. Plus, we had 2 churches, parishes, set up as pilgrim parishes, the cathedral and St. Leo Magnus in Ridgeway.
Okay.
And from talking to some of the pastors, a lot of them made pilgrimages. They couldn't go to Europe, but they would go maybe to Ridgeway and have a prayer service or something. I noticed a lot of times at the cathedral there were people coming in, and I noticed out-of-state cars.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah.
I think it was positive because we all need hope. And we have to nurture that.
No doubt. No doubt. Let's talk about Catholic schools a second here. Recently, Mother Teresa is in the news. They're getting ready to move, or
They're investigating it.
Okay.
Nothing is finalized.
Gotcha.
Because right now it's a inquiry on how it would be perceived and would it be supported, because it is growing. And Mother Teresa Academy, as you know, was created from the old Holy Family School because I wanted a school that would be accessible to the Lower East Side and the Lower West Side, where you had people who needed the extra help, because it would be an opportunity for them to get a good education and hopefully, if they want, move on to prep villa, or on to college.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to provide them a good education, faith-based, and whether they were Catholic or not,
Right.
and give them that opportunity that they wouldn't have.
So they're looking at the Blessed Sacrament building and
Right.
facility, which again is an amazing facility. Do you feel like that whole transition of Blessed Sacrament closing and were a lot of those kids able to be absorbed
Most
in
of
the
them
other
were.
schools? Yeah.
They went to the other schools, yeah.
And so we're well into that.
We have plenty of room in our schools for those who want to go.
Yeah.
When you consider that some of those schools used to hold 1,000 students.
Yeah, Blessed Sacrament itself held 1,000 students.
Right.
Yeah.
And so did OLP, had a lot. St. George can hold a lot. So there's room.
Is the decline in the Catholic schools just related population?
It's population, yeah. Also, we're tuition based.
Sure.
So it's kind of hard because if I have to pay school tax, where am I going to send my kid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately. So
yeah, people, again, I think about what my folks did. We all went to Catholic school, and
Parents
my
sacrificed.
dad worked 3 jobs to do it. you
yeah,
know?
they sacrificed. And in those days, when you went to school and I went to Catholic school, tuition was minimal.
Yeah, even in high school. I want to talk about you. You mentioned that you may you or your successor may not be done yet in the consolidation of the parishes. And what was it? Recently, another church was just taken offline. Can you talk about that? Two of them. All
yeah.
right.
One is Holy Family, which was Holy Family Church was a part of Mother of Sorrows. Okay. So Mother of Sorrows Parish consists of St. Anne's, Holy Family, and St. Casimir's, that little pocket.
Yeah.
And St. Anne's is the parish. These are extra churches, but they're not parishes.
Right. Right.
So.
The church. Which church actually is getting shut down, or what do you call it? Sorted, but
it's
not
being
relegated
to sorted. I mean to. You got me confused.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I apologize.
It's basically churches are consecrated.
Yes.
So this is a deconsecration of the church.
Right.
So that the building can be used for whatever purpose. Mm-hmm. With
which one is that? That's called?
Holy Family.
Holy Family is
yeah.
okay.
It's starting to show its age.
I was going to say, trying to keep up HVAC and roofs.
Right, and the other buildings besides the church that made up that parish, and Mother of Sorrows is not one of your more financially successful parishes.
Right,
but the parish leadership with the pastor realized that something had to be done. And we did the same thing in Bridgeville.
Okay.
Not Bridgeville.
Brookville?
No. Meadville. I'm sorry.
Meadville. Okay. Yeah. I got to ask you, on the positive side, there's a few churches that have been kind of activated for special service to the community. Again, my St. Paul Parish, they're turning that St. Paul Center into a food service, culinary.
Yeah.
And it's the
Giuseppe
Mazzini, yeah.
Mazzini Society.
Yes.
Bought the building, which is it's parish property, so it can be sold.
Okay, yeah.
And they're doing that as a service for the community. So they continue the Italian festival. Mm-hmm. The parish doesn't have to worry about it. And it's now being used for everyone.
Yeah.
So, which is wonderful. Yeah. Some of our other churches, were bought by non-Catholic denominations. So they're putting them to use. Like the one in Meadville, St. Bridget, there were 3 parishes, St. Mary's, St. Agatha's, and St. Bridget's. Agatha is the main church, is the parish, and these are auxiliary buildings. Well, they just weren't needed, and again, you know what happens to a building.
Right, you got to use
and you
it.
have to make a decision. Mm-hmm. Are you going to spend your resources on buildings or people?
Exactly right.
So that's when they made the decision.
Okay. We got to wrap things up here,
Sure.
but Bishop, I'm asking all of my guests to share like a Christmas memory from when you were a preteen. You grew up in Greensburg. You probably didn't get a ton of snow.
Actually, I grew up in a town called Menneson.
Menneson, okay.
Yeah, Westmoreland County.
Okay.
Greensburg is the diocese, but I grew up there. It was a steel town.
Yeah.
It was the home of Wheeling Pittsburgh Steel.
What was the snow covered with soot?
And so in the summer it was covered with soot too. You could taste it.
You could taste it in the air.
Yeah.
But what's a memory that comes immediately to mind when you think about growing up there for Christmas?
Well, I always think it was the Christmas tradition when the family would gather, because being of Italian ancestry, we kept the vigil Christmas Eve. So the family all came to my parents' home, and aunts, uncles, my brother, sister, their families. So we used to set up a large table, and everyone, had all of the fish and
You did the fishes?
Oh
Yeah.
pasta, fish,
Yeah.
and then everybody just sat around talking, and then most of us went to midnight mass.
Yeah. Did you sing in the choir?
Me, no, I was an altar server.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
You don't want me singing.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I was in the 8th grade choir, so we had to do midnight mass, and then the morning mass is in the
Yes.
morning. And yeah, you work hard when you're serving that way. You know?
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because you're up late, and then you have to get up early for the next morning mass.
And you're hoping to open a present or two in the morning.
meantime, yes.
Bishop Persico, I appreciate you very much for taking the time.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I enjoy these opportunities to meet with you and to talk to your listeners. But I'd also, before I depart, just want to say to your listeners, wishing them all a blessed Christmas and New Year. And to you, too.
Thank you very much. God
You're
bless.
welcome.
More ahead here on Talk Erie. Don't forget Midnight Mass at the Cathedral. I think festivities start at 11, and the Mass will start with the Bishop at midnight.
Midnight, yeah.
All righty, we're getting ready for the news, and we'll have more. We'll have an update for you coming up. Stay with us. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show.